Hello, friends. Wilbur Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat, Keen Mind. This one always makes me think of like Dinosaur Jr., a band I like. They have an album and a song called Green Mind, and I can't stop thinking about it now.
Okay. To all of our
Yeah.
Dinosaur Junior fans out there, let us know if this also makes you think of Green Mind.
Well,
This
it does
is
now.
a feed from the PHP, and it is relatively simple. It is 4 lines of text. Well, I guess 5, including the fluff. You have a mind that can track time, direction, and detail with uncanny precision. You gain the following benefits. Increase your intelligence score by 1 to a maximum of 20. Great place to start. You always would know which way is north. You always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise or sunset. You can accurately call anything you've seen or heard within the past month. Normally, when we talk about these feats, I say, well, it's got a +1. That's good enough. It's like almost an ability score improvement. As long as this gives you something, it is worth taking. I think we have finally come to the feat that does not give you something.
Oh my. Well, all right. Yeah. All right. You get the intelligence bump. That's even
Great.
that's not no, even that's not great because most of these give you like a choice, intelligence or wisdom or charisma. This one's just strictly intelligence. If you
Yeah.
need that, fine, this is an option, but you have other options that give you intelligence bumps.
It basically limits it to artificers, eldritch knights, the roguish archetype, the one that gives in, I don't remember what its name is, the arcane trickster, that's it, and then wizard. Those are the 4 classes that would want this. If you have an odd int already, typically, because most of the other characters don't care to raise their int all that much.
Um, that's not enough to talk about. Let's go into the features.
All right, Bob, let me ask you a question. Have you ever once been playing D&D and been like, God, I really wish we had a compass?
No. However, how I did a little research. The compass was invented in China in the 2nd century. So that's far beyond before typical D&D timelines. Like, are
I mean,
compasses not available?
I believe compasses are available. I have never once thought to check, but
Yeah,
like,
this is never going to come up.
yeah, according to the D&D wiki, it exists. Oh, this is homebrew. Okay. So then D&D Beyond has posed the question, how do I go about getting a compass? A compass should be included in the navigator's tool set is what an answer is. And that makes sense to me. If you're like a navigator, sure. So like if you want a compass, maybe get one of those.
Wait, is that homebrew or is that just...
That's someone answering a question on D&D Beyond that I don't think it has official rules for it. Navigator's tools exist.
Right. Does it have a description of what's in navigator's tools?
Probably not. The set of instruments is used for navigation at sea. Proficiency with the tools let you chart a ship's course and follow navigation charts. In addition, these tools allow you to add your proficiency bonus to any ability check you made to avoid getting lost at sea. I'm assuming that would include a compass. They don't tell you all of what it includes, but I can imagine that includes a compass. I like that. In this conversation, we've learned that they didn't bother to include the item in this game anyway, so that should tell you how useful this first line of text is. Something so
if you got a leaf
useless.
and a sewing needle and a little pool of water, you can make your own compass.
Yep.
Hey, the point is, nobody needs this. It's never come up in any game ever, and there are ways you can tell. I mean, if the sun is, rises to the east, sets in the west. All right, you're golden. Yep. You can find north. I can find north right now outside. I'm not a fantasy character.
That's true.
I'm the guy in my garage.
I wouldn't even say you're proficient in survival, yet here we are.
No.
So yeah, that's bullet point 1, which is a bummer. So the next bullet point is you always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise or sunset.
So this includes anyone who's awake.
Correct. This includes access to a timekeeping device of some nature. Will cover you pretty well in this regard.
Like the sun.
Yep.
Getting dark out. All right.
Maybe we got a few hours left, somewhere in that range. Is it ever important? Probably not. And finally, you can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month.
That's a player that's taking notes.
Correct. That is I actually think this bullet point is more harmful than it is helpful to the larger scope of D&D. Because what happens is, this then says to DMs, you don't need to remind your players of things. They're supposed to remember these things. They're supposed to keep them in mind. In the game of D&D, we're all listening to one person who thinks they're constructing a good narrative, that thinks they're constructing coherent sentences, that sometimes isn't, to try and set us all on the same course of adventure, to try and tell us all, include us all into the same story, right? Keen Mind says you can accurately recall anything that has happened, been seen or heard within the past month, but that's going to still be like contingent on your DM giving you that information accurately and it being imparted to you in a reasonable fashion. Having a way to be able to just say, hey, DM, I don't really understand. Was this a character we've met before? And them going, I don't know, you don't remember. That's not a very fun game experience. And it's not something that I would ever want to do as a DM, because as a DM, I understand and respect that our brains have a lot of things coming in them at any given point in time, and that random NPC that I introduced 3 sessions ago may not be top of your mental load's priorities. So yes, it is good to remind them that, yeah, your character probably could remember this random guy they met 2 weeks ago. It's not that big of a deal. It helps move the story forward. This line of text says, no, you're supposed to forget it, and that's not good. That isn't healthy for the larger scope of D&D play.
Also, I was thinking, I guess along similar but kind of different lines. It puts a burden on the DM. If all right, let's say a month. How long is that in game time? A month of game time. How long is that, like, sessions?
Anywhere between years and a session, right? It's either you've had downtime, and that can be years if you want it to be. That can be a decade if you decide it to be. It could also be like a week and a half or 3 months. It doesn't really matter. You can say any amount of time passes in downtime. It also could be like daily sessions. You level up every 2 or 3, and that's like a 2 weeks. And that's, not a whole duration of Keen Mind. A whole campaign can take place in a month.
So I'm thinking, all right, DM, exactly what I said to the blacksmith in that town 8 sessions ago.
And they go, oh God, I don't remember, but your character remembers, and it doesn't really matter, does it?
That's really annoying.
Yeah.
None of this. The 4th bullet point, I think, could be useful, but then that's annoying.
Agreed.
Aside from the first bullet point, of course, that could be useful.
Sure, but you know what's more useful than that?
Anything else that grants you, or any other feat that gives you an intelligence bump.
Also that, which is a lot of ones that give like spells and crap. Would you really be able to get invisibility once per day, or know what direction is north? I know which I'd want.
Oh man, the 3rd one really gets me though. Like, you know the number of hours. Like, knowing what time it is useful. Like, if you're getting down to seconds, if you're timing things with a stopwatch or something, like, knowing the number of hours before the sun goes down, when's that coming into? I guess if you're, I don't know, like a vampire on a schedule or something.
You wake up hungover and you're wondering how late you are. This will tell you.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Agree. Sure. Most adventurers don't.
It's not like modern day. You got, oh man, I got to pick up my kids from school or something. This is you're going to fight a dragon in a cave.
Yeah, the time isn't usually an issue with that.
What time you get there?
Yeah, this is also the kind of thing where, like, people historically have been pretty good about keeping track of time. People historically have been good about knowing when to get up and when to go to sleep and when to get to town and when to do this, that, and everything else. They didn't have great timekeeping devices all the time. There weren't clocks on everyone's wrists. There weren't watches everywhere running. The poorest of people still had to work in a coherent schedule with timing and whatnot. People just kind of are good at figuring this out. This text doesn't mean anything, especially in a world that has magic, especially in a world that has, like, all kinds of different systems that you can put into place, that has the rudimentary devices for timekeeping. Like, you don't need this. And if you were to need this, I don't want to track that. No one wants to track that. Like, beyond is it good or is it useful, do you want to deal with it? And my answer is no. I don't want to deal. I'm gonna say you can rest long enough. You get up when you need to, you go on the adventures. You did it. I'm proud of you. We're not worried about alarm clocks and the anxiety of waking up every morning and not being late for the bus anymore. We're beyond that.
You're talking, I mean, even the time period, you're talking about peasants going to work. That's not the fantasy I'm wanting to play. You know, I'm
Right?
an adventurer. I need a clock.
Yeah, we're a bard. We wake up at 2 p.m. in the middle of the tavern wondering what happened last night. That's the adventure lifestyle that we crave.
Yes. Ah, yeah, we could talk about how crappy this is all day, but I think we've covered pretty much our thoughts.
Yeah, this might be the only ability score bump 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's a really, 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 really low floor to get something, and this isn't that. So,
Gotta agree. 1 out of 5. I mean, take any other feat that gives
take an
you
ability score improvement.
intelligence or an ability score improvement. If you that gives you nothing plus 2 intelligence.
Yeah.
This gives you nothing plus 1, which is worse.
Definitively.
Right. Well, that was Keen Mind. Sorry, Keen Mind. You are a stinky beast. All right. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know what you think of Keen Mind down in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.